So welcome back, welcome back. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So today I want to talk a little bit about religion, right? And now when I say religion, I mean Christianity and or the Catholic, just Christianity, that religion in general, the one involving God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, ghosts, churches, all of that type of shit, right? And I want to talk about mainly because talking about religion that would take fucking forever, right? But I want to talk really about kind of some of the deeds that people don't want to acknowledge or recognize within Christianity. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I've personally recognized that people who, younger people these days who are growing up or who are really kind of forced upon with religion and things like that, they never really taught kind of like the shitty things that happen in religion. Or it's always glossed over and it's normally written by the victors, which were the Christians at the time, right? So victors write it, make it look good and everything like that, right? Now, I don't know if you hear it in the background, but niggas be racing. But what I really want to talk about is kind of like not why it's glossed over, but like the information itself, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So, got a couple points right here in this little book. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to talk about today. Just really get my thoughts and opinions on, and just think over it with you guys and everything like that, right? So let's talk about the Crusades, right? Now I think we all know a little bit about the Crusades and everything about like what it was, kind of a little bit about it. Because in history class, I remember teachers used to gloss over this period, but like take their time glossing over. You know what I'm saying? So like you talk about it for like maybe like one lesson, maybe a lesson and a half if some people in the class were late or something like that. But usually the Crusades were initiated by the church, right? And they were initiated for some of the purposes of taking back the Holy Land, right? Now, mind you, this is God we talking about, right? Created mankind, the earth, the universe, created it all. That man made it. So, could someone please explain to me why he cares so much about this quote unquote holy land when the whole earth is technically his holy land? If you get what I'm saying, right? I understand some people are like, no, the land had a very importance to Jesus and everything like that. I mean, like, that's important. Your birthplace is where your birthplace is, and you want to claim the birthplace of your, superior figure, by all means, go ahead. But the way they did it was they said, oh, this is your holy land? Like, you live in here too? Yeah, about that, I'm gonna need you to bounce. Like, I'm gonna really need you to bounce. Like, I understand you like this land too, but fuck, I gotta tell you, son, that's our holy land, and like, fuck whoever you following, we want that. So I understand, like, the want for it, but at the same time, the way they went about that type of shit was grimy as fuck. You gonna start killing people, murking people off, slicing people, taking them from their families, all for some land. All for some land because it held quote unquote super significant importance to your religion. You murdered your fellow human beings, quote unquote, your fellow children of, the Almighty being God. You murdered them for land? You telling me, your church or quote unquote your superior being cared so much for a piece of land that you held crusades in his name? Or what I'm saying? But in its name, in his name. You started slaughtering his children for land that he already had. Mind you, he has the whole world. Like, even if this is superior, like this is significant to you, at the same time, it's not like just because they live on it, it's not his land no more, right? Like, going from their perspective, if he owns the whole world, just because they live on it, it's not like it's not his land, right? It's not like it's not his land no more. But hey, crusades happen, murked a whole bunch of people for some land, and don't make no sense to me, right? Because it just don't make no sense to me, right? Move it on. The manifestation destiny. Now look, I really don't like to get into, I don't know, because like the manifestation destiny to me is just like, it's literally, they tried to find the biggest excuse to gather a whole bunch of people to support the cause of literally basically robbing niggas. Just going around robbing niggas at the land. They literally tried to find a reason to say, hey, I know we said we wouldn't take that from you, but you looking like you having a lot of fun over there, and I kind of want to take a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the manifestation destiny. I remember they taught it in history class, right? My history teacher, I forgot his name. I think his name was like Mr. Wu, right? Mr. Wu. He was a good history teacher. He taught some solid history, right? And I remember we spent like a lesson on this, and I remember there was a graphic image of the manifestation destiny. So it had the angels in the sky, the carriages, and it had the had the people riding in it. You know what I'm saying? Going over to quote unquote explore and manifest their destiny upon new lands and everything like that in the name of the God, right? So and then but in front of them they had people kind of, it looked like they were running away from the carriages, right? So a couple of the kids in the class asked, they were like, hey yo, what's up with the people in front of the carriages running? And he explained it. He said, these people running in front of the carriages are actually the natives. They're the natives running away from people coming and taking their land. And like I like that. I like that example, right? Because somebody else could have said, "Oh, it's just the people who wanted to go explore first. It's just those eager people who wanted to go and really manifest their destiny in God's way." Like someone really could have said that. They really could have said some shit like that, and most kids would have believed it. But he kept it real, and that's what it was. And it's crazy to me because in the book they try to gloss over, or they try to like give not a lot of inclination to just how fucked up that is, right? You basically gave somebody your word. You said, I'm not going to take this land. You can have it. We're cool with this. Even though we already robbed this land from you and killed some of your people, we brought other people over that we already been killed, murdered, forced working for us and everything. So even that, we're gonna leave this to you. We're gonna step back and leave it to you, and then you take back your word and fuck over them all in the name of God. Like, and I don't understand that whole thing where people, like, with people of old times and everything like that, they got it in their heads that everybody's a child of God, right? If everybody is a child of God and anything like that, what gives you the right to mess up or kill or pillage or hurt a quote unquote next child of God if everybody's supposed to be sacred, if everybody's supposed to be equal? Like it's crazy how much kind of like the church itself changed, and it changed in the whims of the priest. I'm gonna be honest with you, it changed in the whims of the priest and the government. It's been like that for ages, right? But even moving in, it's like it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me, right? So let's go to the culling of the witches, right? That shit was crazy. Like when that whole witch culling period was going on, it was like, I want you to imagine like you went out to go cut some wood. You a lumberjack, whatever. You working for the village. You cool. You went out to go cut some wood. Your wife's at home chilling, right? You head back into the village. You see everybody gathered around. You see a burning pyre. You like, hey yo, which witch got found out this week? Like, hold up, I ain't know we had no witches right here. Whoa, what's happening, right? So you head up to the pyre, and Paul, he'll turn around and say, hey yo, Billy, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy how Martha, you know Martha, right? Good old neighbor of yours. Yeah, so her and Sally were just sitting outside, and Sally said, hey yo, Martha, look, that kid looks like he's about to trip and fall, right? And Martha was like, oh, don't say that, Sally, you know what I'm saying? Don't say none of that. That's not going. And then the kid tripped and fell. And Martha, she was scared. Martha thought Sally was, trying to hurt the little kids by playing demonized pranks on them. So Martha, with her God bless soul, she went and she told the Reverend. She said, look here, Reverend. Sally went and told the little kid that she was gonna fall, hurt herself, and the kid did. I swear it's witchery. It's witchery. It's witchery. Sometimes I'll be smelling funky smells come out of her house, but I don't say nothing because I thought she was a good person, but she's out here hurting children, and that draws the line for me. That's enough evidence for me. And the Reverend said, "Oh, thank you, Sister Martha. Thank you so much, for doing this." And then Sally, seems like she's Sally's your wife. My bad, Paul. You know what I'm saying? I forgot. I was just in the moment, and the pyre is burning, and the witches scream. They got messed up in the head a little. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was fucked up. Like, you could literally, you could just not believe in the church in general. You could have questions against the church. You're a witch. You could have did something that was, maybe a little bit off, which a little kid didn't like you, witch. You are on the pyre. You're being burned. You're being drowned. You're being chopped up. You're being executed. You're being all types of things, right? And the fact of the matter is, like, this is all quote unquote in the name of the church to keep, the people pure, to stop them from the devil and everything like that. But my thing is, mind you, okay, here's a little theory I have, right? I ain't gonna tell you the whole theory, but it's just like God made the angels. Lucifer was technically an angel, so God made the devil. So in reality, I understand like the devil rebelled against God, but ain't you still in a way killing God's children? I understand how you're like, oh no, they've been tainted by the devil. But if God created the devil, couldn't he just take that taint away without you having to, I don't know, brutally torture and murder these people? Like, they are still, however you put it, children of God, right? And you would just, I don't even get it. And then they didn't have really good evidence, claims or findings back then. So it's just like you could literally have it. Like, you could have been a shit person, or you just could have like had a vendetta with a couple females or a couple niggas in the village and anything like that. And they could have went to the reverend and ratted you, lied on your name, and you really can't defend yourself because they don't have a lot of methods. They don't have a lot of the methods right here, or that we have in today's time, to kind of, uncover the truth and everything like that. But it's just crazy to me how, like, it was so normalized back then that if you were quote unquote suspected of witchcraft, you could literally just be tortured to death, and the church would just allow it. They would praise it. You would be, the people who discovered the witch would be praised. They would be called the eyes of God, the children, like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that the Lord blessed down upon you and let you see this witch and brought them to the forefront. Like, what type of, really, son? Really, son? You just ended a family line, took a mother away from somebody, took a wife away from somebody. For what? Crazy, but hey, it's crazy, right? Alright, now let's get to the paying for your sins. Now that's crazy to me. Because if you don't know what it means, it's like, I remember back then, like, and I say back then like I was there, but I was definitely not there. This is back like then, the Roman Catholic days and anything like that. There was a way that you could pay away your sins, right? So you could go to the church and you could pay money to get your sin of, let's say, drinking kind of pushed away. Your sin of, like, let's say, adultery kind of pushed away and everything like that, depending on what church you went to, depending on the priest and everything like that, right? You could literally just pay away your sins and not have to deal with it and everything. But in my head, it's like, how are you going to put currency, a quote-unquote human-made thing like that, to attribute to quote-unquote the divine energy, the divine power of God? Is God the God of everything, or is he the God of money? You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about these things and everything like that. And it's crazy how a couple coins could pay away the quote unquote unforgivable sins within the Bible. What? Is the Bible like a vending machine or something? What the fuck is that? I don't understand, right? And the thing about the Bible in the first place is that back then, the Bible was written, or kind of like a lot of the things was dictated by the priest, right? A lot of the people were kept very illiterate, right? The priest, the church worked very close with the government, keeping people literate, keeping people benign, so they could literally change whatever rules they wanted to about the Bible, and say whatever they wanted to, and the people would have to believe it, because they could listen, they could understand, and they could hear, but they couldn't like articulate their thoughts. You get what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't articulate their thoughts. Like, all the people who were quote unquote scholars, quote unquote noblemen, quote unquote there's supreme beings in their eyes, they were supposed to be respected, and everything they said had to be a divine providence from God. Because don't you see how intelligent they are? Don't you see how different they are? Don't you see how uppity, high they are? You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because they abused that for so long, for so long, and so much bad stuff happened under the name of the church and everything like that. And I get some people may be like, no, they just did it because they're bad people, not the church is a bad person. But when you have a majority of priests in on the act and everything like that, and it's quote unquote, there's supposed to be divine judgment coming down on these priests and everything. And in some cases, some people may make a claim, don't you know the priest died of a random sickness? Son, it was back then, and like, when they didn't have no type of Benadryl, they didn't have no type of antibiotics. Of course the niggas gonna die of a random sickness. Niggas weren't living past 50, 60 back then, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't use it as an excuse, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, your church is supposed to be all about the savior of mankind and humanity and everything like that, and just, praising, the Lord and human beings in general. But, the people following the church treat human beings like shit, right? The people following the church treat other religions as basically, inferior in a way, right? And that's the image that was put in by a lot of the priests. They treated other religions like horrible. They treat them like sins. They treat them like things to not, you know, kind of like or pay attention to or cherish in any type of way, right? And it's changed over time. It's changed during with the people. The populace really do control the church in a heavy way, but it's just some people don't understand that, and they feel like they're under the power of the church and what the priest says. But like I said, let's keep it going, right? So, like I said before, holding of the teachings. So the whole illiterate stuff, that whole business, you know what I'm saying? Where basically they didn't teach nobody no type of actual intelligent, I want to say actual education. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the education back in the day did not come from the church. The church was keeping them from learning education. So it's like you're for God, you're for the people, you're for everybody, but you want to keep the people stupid. You want to keep them dumb. You want to keep them under your reign of control because you know what? It's easier that way. You can get what you want that way. You can get people to give you money. You can get people to give you faith. You can get people to give you soldiers. You can get people to give you this. You can get people to give you that, right? Oh, we kind of need your virgin daughter because don't you know that, God and, them, they love the Virgin Marys and everything. Virgins, really, son? Really? You expect to believe God made people but then expect them to have sex so he only likes virgins? Really? Come on now, like let's be honest. He put us here for a reason, and if he quote unquote knows everything, he knows procreation was going to happen. So why is he stressing being a virgin so much? Come on now, right? And then slavery / forced conscription. I don't think I need to talk about this one because all I gotta say is how you gonna say everybody's equal in the Bible, God loves everybody, and then treat the next man like a demon, like a slave, like a worker, like this, like that? How you gonna say that? Right? And then treat the next human being, quote unquote, body under God, like a scumbag, like a shit stain. And then the forced conscription of where they would take slaves, of all different types, not even just black people, but all different types of slaves, and then they would force them to accept the religion as their own. And it's not like this was done on a small scale. This was done on a massive scale. There's what is it? So I've been looking into like different types of just beliefs and stuff like that. And voodoo, the Haitian voodoo, right? It's said to be African originated, of course, right? African originated, but the Haitian voodoo was said to be influenced by a lot of the Christian, kind of like Christian values and Christian ethics, morals, and things like that. And that's because they were forced to come over there. And now you literally, I don't want to say taint or infect, but you've changed someone's whole religion and culture because you wanted to force them. Like you literally said, you're Christian? Oh, you're not Christian? You don't believe in, boom, you're dead. Slice, you're dead. Oh, now you can't be here no more. Be Christian or be out. You know what I'm saying? And, the church kind of got smart. And then, in the slavery days and everything, they said, hold up, we can't keep these people literate. Let's just teach them about our quote unquote supreme being God and get them in the mindset. Let's teach their children so their children would teach their children. So their children would teach their children. So their children would teach their children that God is the only one and that the church is the best and that you got to listen to the church. Right? They were smart about it, but at the same time, it's some fucked up shit that is like, I don't see a lot of people, like I know some people talk about it, but I don't see a lot of like the priest really explaining that that's what happened and that's the history. Like a lot of people don't want to talk about the bad history because the bad history is nothing. It's nothing good to be talked about, but it needs to be talked about because if you don't talk about the bad history, then it's going to slowly repeat itself in different ways because no one knows what they fucked up on. So no one's going to know how to correct their fuck ups and not repeat it in a different way in the future, right? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's that. Oh yeah, I want to talk about something that also kind of got my thoughts running. So we know what cults are, right? Cults are basically looked at as demonized religions. That's what they are. They're religions that people look at and say that's bad because they sacrifice or they believe in evil practices, quote unquote, is evil to the religion or evil to society in general. That being said, personally, I believe religion is a cult and cult is religion. They're pretty synonymous terms and they have a lot of things in common, if not literally just, perspective on things. You get what I'm saying? So you could take a couple people and they'll look at Christianity and so that's a cult. With Christianity is a cult. Back in the day, there were a lot of sacrifices that had to be made in the name of God. Like there's literally a part in the Bible where God, quote unquote, asked for a sacrifice of a man's child and everything like that. Good thing the man didn't sacrifice the child, but at the same time, it's like that inclination right there, that God would even test somebody in a way of sacrifices, and like got people thinking that, okay, sacrifice is God, like sacrifice. There was a lot of sacrifices in the name of God back then. You know, when enemy soldiers were being killed, sacrifice in the name of God. Crusades happened, sacrifice in the name of God. Slaves happen, sacrifice in the name of God. And it's like, you're sacrificing literal human bodies in the name of God, and you're telling me you're not a cult? Really? You're telling me you're just not a cult? Like, you just absorbed from the term cult completely. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay, right? But you'll call other, religions a cult because they don't follow the quote unquote supreme doctrine that you follow. I don't get it, right? And even with other religions, this isn't just Christianity. Other religions, they'll call other things cults and things like that. But what is it like? To me, a cult is literally just a religion. People follow a cult. They worship a supreme being, a supreme entity, a supreme something, ideal thought process, whatever, right? They worship it, they adore it, they follow its quote unquote, rules and regulations, everything like that, and they sacrifice things in the name of that. Sacrifice does not have to mean killing the next man. It doesn't mean have to be slicing up babies. It doesn't have to mean any of that type of stuff at all. It clearly just means sacrificing your time, energy, and effort, sacrificing your money, wealth, and well-being, sacrificing your fear and bad emotions. It can be sacrificing anything. It does not have to be some extreme level of sacrifice and everything like that. Now, I did say a lot of bad stuff about Christianity, but in the end of the day, I'm not saying this in a way that like shit on Christianity. Be like, Christianity's horrible. Never follow Christianity. Yeah.
You keep ear out on her.
Yeah, I got you.
Before I went to the school, the gas station right there.
Yeah, I got you.
She's still.
Yeah. So I'm not saying any of these things like shit on Christianity or anything like that, or get down bad on Christianity or anything like that. Because if anything, I've grown up around a lot of Christians and a lot of Christian values, so I can see kind of like the good that it does. I can see the good religion does for people and everything like that. I can see kind of how it pushes people forward and gets them doing things that they wouldn't normally do. Gets them thinking in ways that are beneficial, not just towards them, but towards others around them and everything like that. Really building a solid community of strong values and ethics and everything like that that are upstanding in society. I get that. But what I don't understand nor can I agree with is how people try to glorify something but never pay attention to the, kind of atrocities that were there. Because people need to learn about the atrocities, or like I said beforehand, they're going to repeat them, and it's going to be repeated in even a worse way than what had happened beforehand, right? Now, saying that, I want to, so what is it? There was a Boys and Girls Club I used to go to, right? And I remember, I vividly remember this, right? I was sitting down inside the computer lab, and they gathered all the little kids up and everything like that. I think it was everybody, under the age of 12, they gathered up, right? And so they rolled in a little TV that we usually watch movies on. So we thought, okay, we're going to watch a movie. Cool. It's about to be good, right? No. That boy, a priest walked in. A black brother man priest walked in, right? He turned on some, I forgot what movie it was, but it was like some end day type movie. The world was burning. Literally it was like a panning out view in space where the world was just on fire and everything. And he looked us dead in the eyes as children and said, look, little kid, you see me looking at you right now, right? Looked us dead in the eyes, and he said, hey, yo, everybody who's good, like that loves God and, does everything that they're supposed to do by the church and by the Bible, they're going to escape from this hellish escape on earth, and they're going to be in heaven. They're going to be happy and all of this. But if you're bad, you're going to be on this burning earth and die. You're going to explode and implode on this earth, and you're going to burn. You're going to burn in the hellfire of a destroyed earth, of a destroyed planet. Right? And me, because I was back then, I was a curious little kid asking all types of questions for no apparent reason, right? So I said, how do we know, how do we know they're bad, right? Because I'm like, bro, because I've been told I've been a bad kid before, right? I've been said, oh yeah, this is you be a bad kid. So in my head, I'm like, God, I'm about to burn to death. I'm about to burn on the earth. When is this happening? Wait a minute, let me get prepared, right? So, he says, oh, God will know how they're bad. God will know if they're bad or not. God will know this. God will know that. God will know this. God will know that. God will know this. God will know that. And it's like, so you don't know. You could have just said you don't know. You could have just said you don't know how it's going to be chosen, but you're just putting this out there in the minds of kids to basically say, if you're a bad person and don't believe in God, then you're going to burn and the world is going to be destroyed and you're going to be here and all of this is going to happen, right? But then he going on to say like this is going to happen in the far future, right? So in my head, I'm like, if this is about to happen in the far future, how far in the future? Like you're not giving any type of actual explanation, definition, or inclination of what the fuck is happening. But like I said beforehand, that's something that happened to me when I was a little kid and everything like that. You know what? I thought past it and everything like that. But it's just something that reminds me like of how disinformation and like not actually explaining things to children can really kind of mess them up for the long run and everything like that. Give them certain types of views and values that they don't want to think about, or get them thinking about thoughts that they don't necessarily think about. Like that got me thinking about existential dread. As like, what? How old was I? I think I was like 7. And I'm thinking about I'm about to die, I'm about to burn, I'm about to rot, and I'm about to rot in quote unquote he double hockey sticks. Like I'm about to what? I'm 7 years old. Let me go back outside. Like I'm not ready to be thinking like that type of like none of that type of business like that, right? But yeah, and that's just some of the thoughts I had on Christianity and everything like that. And like I said before, and I don't believe that Christianity is something completely bad. I don't believe that religions are something completely bad at all. I believe that they can be very useful towards society and people in general, and pushing humans progression as far as it can be, and uniting people. Because humans can't be united without some type of goal to be behind. It's just not going to happen, right? So I believe religion fits that goal to be kind of united behind, right? And like I said before, all I want to see is people teach and explain to others who like want to follow the religion heavy exactly the things that happen, the good, the bad, the atrocities, the miracles, whatever. But don't explain part of it, explain it all, because that's not being fair to the people who are giving their quote unquote loyalty, devotion, time, energy, effort, passion, care into these things, when you only teach them misinformation and lies, or not even lies, but just straight misinformation, and scrape over everything that would stop them from committing and doing the same atrocious acts that were done in the past. Like I talked about, a little list of maybe like 7, 8 things, but at the same time, there's so much more that like I could have talked about or that I can say. But I'm gonna just leave it off here and everything like that. The video is what, fucking 27 minutes long. Did not know it was gonna get that long. But yeah, I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks in the comments. Tell me what you think and everything like that. I'd love to hear it. And thanks. Yeah, take it easy.